This video is brought to you by NCASE.com. Great technology, selection, and service. Hello everyone, this is Dmitry with Hardware Canucks, and I was so excited to finally receive our NCASE M1 sample, a crowd-funded project from Kickstarter that could introduce more exciting ideas like this one to the market. It's a very challenging process to create something compact yet without compromises when it comes to space efficiency, and the NCASE brings us a step closer to run an extremely powerful system with these dimensions. And with that said, those who are willing and able to spend this much on a tiny case will truly be satisfied. I say this because the build quality is pretty much on par to what you get with Case Labs or Lee or Silverstone aluminum quality. The entire aluminum construction is superb, the width of all the side panels is satisfying, plus all the refined and smooth edges is how you gain consumers' trust and quality control. And the frame itself, despite being super light, exhibited zero flex, and I was trying to find a weak spot. This is the version 3.0, and the beauty of this project is its ongoing improvements, the list of which is surprisingly long from the original, but the main focus here for NCASE is perfection, and they are almost, if not, already here. The subtle outdents at the front highlight the perfect balance between design and functionality, as this area can be populated either with a slim slot loading optical drive with a cutout at the top panel to insert your discs, or be used for an SSD with rubber mounting cutouts available in the frame. Here at the front we get our power button with the dark blue illumination, audio jacks, and two USB 3.0 ports, and I'd like to note a reset switch is not available. All three side panels are ventilated with precision holes, and since aluminum is not magnetic, 4 dust filters are included that are meant to be installed on the fans, plus 4 fan grills are also present to avoid cables being caught in fan blades. While looking at accessories, all the necessary screws and rubber bits are nicely sorted, plus these 4 aluminum strips for installation of dual 2.5-inch drives. It's a very clever and space-efficient system, coupling 2 drives that you slide to lock type of mount either on the floor or to the front panel. And lastly, an ATX power supply bracket is included to allow users complete flexibility for hardware, but keep in mind installation of ATX power supply introduces limitations for graphics card length, drive cage, and side radiator clearance. So it is strongly recommended to use an SFX power supply instead to optimize internal compatibility. Coming to the rear of M1, we find an 80 and a 92mm fan holes and 3 PCI brackets, allowing users to populate all 3 if needed, but the extra height is also helpful for drive or fan installation at the bottom, as everything is designed for a reason. For example, the floor can be populated with the combination of an SSD and a 120mm fan beside it, or a 3.5-inch drive with either an 80 or a 92mm fan beside that. And as you can see, installation of both drives on the floor may bring up challenges for connecting everything, but not impossible if you rotate the SSD to face the other way. Also, an offset mount is available on the inside of the front panel for an SSD that does not interfere with Radiator and can only be installed with the drive cage removed. So plenty of options available for multiple build scenarios. All the side panels pop off easily on secure enough hinges, and this tool system is very well executed, leaving just an empty frame to work with. The side radiator bracket on the M1 houses a removable cage for dual 3.5-inch drives that you mount on rubber grommets to prevent vibrations, and because they are facing inside, using 90-degree SATA cables will tidy things up. And if you decide to keep the drive cage in place, the second 120mm fan spot on the bracket can still be utilized as long as the CPU tower is 10 cm in height or shorter, or opt in for a 120mm all-in-one cooler. But I feel all-in-one 240mm radiators would be a very popular choice among the M1 users. Having 2 fans for intake would create positive air pressure and thus reducing dust buildup and optimizing cooling. GPU clearance is impressive with non-obstructive 12 inches of space, given you use an SFX power supply or a non-modular 140mm or shorter ATX power supply to keep the same compatibility. So I swapped the cooler for an all-in-one 240mm radiator to see how that would stack up, and the first thing you lose is that drive cage. However, my system only has an SSD that mounted on the inside of the front panel and a 3.5-inch drive below the GPU. So this is where a blower style cooler on the card may be potentially more beneficial. I was expecting some challenges with the cables, especially to the right of the memory. We are using the 600-watt SFX unit from Silverstone that is an outstanding choice for this system, given the black, low profile, short and modular cables, as you need to bundle them up as they exit. And while it's a tight fit for tubing on the all-in-one cooler, it is nonetheless properly set up to cool our 4690K. And this brings up two temperatures. How well does the NCASE M1 cool our enthusiast hardware in such a tiny form factor? At load during gaming, the GPU remained at 72 degrees Celsius and the CPU just skimming close to 50 degrees Celsius at load, with real nice idle temps as well. And regarding the noise, well, with only 2 fans and the GPU, the system remained quiet enough to comfortably sit beside me on the desk during my tests. Now, despite being the 3rd revision, there are still elements that I'd like to see changed, like an inclusion of a manual to help novice users to navigate all the different configuration options, an inclusion of a dust filter for the power supply side as it is positioned for intake would have been beneficial as well. But be fully aware of what you're getting into with the M1, as the building process is actually pretty straightforward with some planning, and we finally have an outstanding, beautiful, full aluminum mini-ITX case that reassures my confidence in what designers at NCASE can do. And I really can't wait to see what they'll do next, because this is a damn good and a damn innovative case. I personally love what they've done with the size, the design, the internal flexibility at this size, and it's clear that functionality has been prioritized. All thanks to the crowd-funded community that helped bring this case to life, especially since NCASE is a 2-man collaboration, and this makes the M1 that much more impressive. And for all of you considering this mini-ITX direction, do you see value in dropping this much cash for this tiny case, or do you find this overpriced? So leave your thoughts with a comment below. But this concludes this review. Make sure to subscribe, as we have our updated setup tour coming very soon. Hit that like button if you want to see more items from NCASE. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.